Hey, what's up guys? John here. 80% of Americans can no longer afford fast food. They call it a luxury.
Why is fast food getting so expensive?
Prices at fast food restaurants are on the rise.
A McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese meal has more than doubled. Taco Bell's beefy 5-layer burrito spiked almost 200%.
Go to Five Guys, a traditional burger, fries, and a small drink might cost you $25. Might cost you $18 to go through a drive-thru to get a Big Mac combo meal at McDonald's.
McDonald's menu in Connecticut selling a Big Mac combo for $18.
A lot has changed around fast food and the cost of living, but what McDonald's is doing about it is the big shocker. Many McDonald's locations are considering to close up in California to relocate outside of the state due to a $20 minimum wage. But the more that you pull back the curtain, the more that you'll see a lot more is broken in this economy than just fast food. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what is going on with the American consumer, what I think is going to happen in Q4 of this year. Please hit the like button, YouTube will share this content, educate more people about what's really going on in the U.S. economy. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for what I believe is going to be a massive wealth transfer, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow. Take a look at this. So even Starbucks. So Starbucks sales are slumping, and they're dropping. Look at the same store sales at Starbucks dropped, pushing revenues down 1.8%. Their stock plunged 14% after missing its Q2 earnings estimate. And they say coffee customers frustrated by morning wait times. They're more frustrated financially. It's not the $5 latte, might be, but it's all these small purchases. Everywhere they go, they can't leave the house less than $50 or $100. And so stopping at Starbucks, it's not the wait times. It's not the $7, $5 latte. It's the buildup of all these expenses where people are really questioning every single purchase. And that's what's been building up throughout America over the last couple of years. It's been slow and gradual, but now a lot less people are looking to spend this money, at Starbucks and all these locations. Look at McDonald's, right? McDonald's, this is Microsoft is reporting on this. McDonald's on the verge of closing in California after $20 minimum wage. California's recent hikes in the minimum wage to $20 an hour has sent shockwaves to the fast food industry, particularly affecting McDonald's franchises. Franchise owners are grappling with unprecedented impact of the wage increase, which has led to higher operational costs and increased menu prices. This situation has become so dire that some McDonald's locations are on the brink of closing their doors. Well, what they're going to do is in California, they're going to be pushing all of these locations, McDonald's, Wendy's, El Pollo Loco, Del Taco, they're going to be pushing them all to automate because it's $20 an hour now. But if you look at where minimum wage is going from now until 2027, they're going to be paying these employees over $25 an hour. And so you start to look at this, from a business owner and operator standpoint, it doesn't make sense to pay that type of money when you have a consumer that isn't spending the type of money that they were a couple of years ago. So you're going to begin automating the entire process. And so when the Atlantic is talking about your fast food is already automated, they're really kind of setting the stage for, this has already been going on. This isn't anything big. Chipotle and all these locations are automating everything. This is really big because we're talking about tens of millions of jobs that are inside of these service-based industries that are going to be soon disrupted. And so McDonald's, they came out, about a month and a half ago saying that they are no longer targeting consumers. In particular, low-income customers make less than $45,000 per year have largely stopped ordering from McDonald's. Pummeled by inflation, they're eating at home more frequently as grocery prices come down. This is coming from the head of McDonald's. So they're saying that they're no longer targeting this consumer that's making $45,000 a year. That was a couple of years ago, $45,000 a year, making $4,000 a month. That was a everyday American living. Well, now they don't even want that consumer in the U.S. For McDonald's, right? This is no longer a McDonald's customer. But what I find very fascinating is how fast this whole thing is moving. So it's not just McDonald's, not just Starbucks. It's not just, Chipotle. They're saying the same thing right now with home ownership. Right here, this came out today. Is co-owning a home better for your wallet? Real estate experts weigh in. Nobody would have ever predicted, 5 years ago that this would be coming out where this is getting normalized, where people are owning shares of a home. You look at Arrived Home. Jeff Bezos heavily invested in this company, Amazon. They're buying these properties. They're getting 20, 30, 50, 100, 200 investors to pitch up money to buy a house, and then they are renting it out. And everyone's going to get their fair share of the rent check based on the portion of equity in which they own of this property. Well, this is, I believe, going to become a mainstream type of way people are going to start owning homes in the very, very near future. And then it's going to get to the point where people are going to say, it doesn't even make sense. I'd rather just rent. I'm not going to own a property with 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 other people to where it's like a timeshare. They say, while the concept of group home ownership isn't new, think timeshares, more and more younger generations are reportedly open to the idea of buying 1/4 or even 1/8 of a property amid a volatile and pricey real estate market. Well, how would that work? Most people, I would argue, over the last couple of years, their relationships around them are more fractured than they were ever before. And so if most people can't get along with each other, how are people going to get along owning a home with 5 other people, right? It sounds like a disaster in the making, but this is what's going on in America now. Credit card delinquencies are surging. This came out last week, 2 weeks ago. Auto loan delinquency is skyrocketing. Now, here's what I think and why I believe this is all going to really start to hit the fan in Q4, right before, that big event. It's an obvious scenario because we're going to be walking into holiday spending. We're going to be walking into a situation. If you look historically, a lot of big recessions happen right around election times. 2008, you look at 2000, the dot-com bubble. You start to look at all of these recessions. A lot of them tie up perfectly with an election. And I think when you look at the everyday American consumer, how much debt they have, you look at the balance sheets of banks, what banks are going through right now. I mean, look at this, for example. This deal, Building Below, acquired $336 million in 2015. It was just sold for $39 million. So you think about that. They basically lost $300 million minus, whatever the investor put down. Maybe the investor put 30% down on this purchase. So maybe the bank lost $200 million on this one deal, right? This is happening across the board where these banks are getting hit with massive, massive losses. The owner paid $8 million for the site with an $86 million construction loan, right? The owner attempted to sell the hotel for $115 million with a 25-year sale leaseback. So you think about this. The owner paid $8 million for the site after they just tried to sell for $115 million. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Just in 650 square feet, office tower in Dallas has been picked up for sale. 26% vacancy in Dallas, now 26%. And so you look at this deal, you look at how much pain is inside of commercial real estate, how much pain is inside of the American consumer. I mean, we're walking into something, I believe, perfectly teed up for around election time. That's what I think. I think we're walking into something really, really big. Also, we're walking into a $7 trillion tax hike, which is coming right now. This is on, government website, .gov, right? They're talking $7 trillion tax hike. So inside of an environment where we have more layoffs, what's generally going to happen? Consumers are going to be pushed to the brink even more. And if American consumers can't afford fast food today, what is this going to mean? Well, it's going to mean, I think, a lot more people are going to begin defaulting, not just auto loans. I mean, Washington auto loan delinquencies up 12.89%. Auto loan delinquency revs up as car prices stress budgets. Auto loan hits 13-year high. So we're going to just see more and more and more defaults just across the board. Layoffs already, they're rising the highest from any February since 2009. Now, what Elon Musk said, recently, I mean, he said this, 3 days ago, that Elon's dystopian AI future, fewer jobs, more money, but no purpose. Now, what he says here, he says, in the benign scenario, probably none of us will have a job, said Musk, but in that benign scenario, there will be a universal high income. How can there be a universal high income if everyone's income is the same? There would be no high income, there'd be no low income, there would be a income, right? So when they try to sell this beautiful fantasy land of, people won't have to really work and everyone will just get to hang out, what it will likely look like is nothing like what they're picturing it. Most people will just be sitting home with their AR headsets, on social media, swiping all day, eating food that probably isn't the best. It won't be an ideal scenario. Now, am I saying this is going to happen right away? Or is he saying this? He's not. He says, Musk continued to describe a scenario he described as most likely, in which humans live a plentiful life powered by intelligent robot companions. He stated the presence of not just universal basic income, but universal high income in a very matter-of-fact way. But in this future, where money and work are no issue, Musk described essential issues where humans lack purpose. If a computer and robots can do everything better than you, then does your life have meaning? That will really be the question in the benign scenario. Now, what I think is happening right now with McDonald's in California, saying that they're going to be closing up, moving us into a conversation more about automating their entire business line of distribution. I mean, and all the fast food chains, as they continue to increase minimum wages and they really continue to put more and more pressure on business owners. Look in California, they're looking at an $18 billion tax hike on business owners. The more pressure they put, the more they're forcing the world of automation on all of us, right? And so I believe over the next 2-3 years, if you're a business owner and you can automate, and a lot of people might not agree with this, but if you can automate your process to the point to where your expenses are, you can operate this on a razor-thin budget, you're going to be able to do better. I mean, I think consumers are going to be looking at their purchases very, very differently. Over the next couple of years, I think people are going to look at things and say, is this going to make me money if I make this purchase? Is it going to save me money if I make the purchase? Am I going to be happier, healthier? Are my relationships going to be better? Will my life really, really, really benefit? If you check those boxes, your service does, and you're able to operate that business on a really thin expense, you're going to be able to, I believe, grow, and then you're going to be able to make investments, real estate. You'll be able to do things. But if you're selling fidget spinners over 2025 and 2026, I think it's going to be a lot harder to make a lot of money. I think everything is about to change right now, and you can see this clearly with what consumers are saying just with fast food. 80% calling it a luxury. What do you think about this entire situation? Drop below. Let's have a conversation about this. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for funding to invest in distressed real estate, maybe get a business loan, a business line of credit, we'd love to help fix your credit at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow, for Monday. Catch you next video.